Okay, so welcome to today's special day today on Hahnemann Day. Today's talk I want to speak about Hahnemann, not about history of Hahnemann, not about who he is, but what he stands for. In spirit, what is he? So for me, what is the significance of Hahnemann and the remedy Cinchona? For me, the spirit and the main idea is that of innovation, doing something different, doing something out of box. The other significance is creativity, something special, something that requires beyond your skins. And finally, courage to stand up against the opposition, to stand up against the world, to stand up and share your innovation. So, I want to talk to you today about the remedy Cinchona. This is the beginning of homeopathy, so I felt it will be interesting for us to share about this remedy. So, about Cinchona, what I want to tell you is that we know it's such a well known remedy for loss of vital fluids, for flatulence, for pain, for fever, for malaria. And most of this is known to all of us. So I thought of sharing something that I want to share about, special about the remedy Synchron. So, what I found the main genius of China is intermittency, exhaustiveness, chilly, acute arthritis, active mind, too many thoughts, and the feeling of harassment and persecution. This is the main genius. This is the thread that runs through the entire remedy. The typical portrait for me for China, typically, definitely it is a very well known remedy for malaria. But what I have seen classically, this is for my friends here, for my students here, for my colleagues here. Typically, you will always see a China fever will have typical all three stages. So it will have chills, it will have fever, it will have sweat. All three stages will be present. And there will be thirstlessness. Remember, thirstlessness is more marked in fever for China than pulsatilla. During the stages, no thirst. After the fever or after the chills, there might be thirst. This is classically China. This is what I want you to know today. One of the patients who did very well on China, especially you would see, either they have too much of craving for food like tea, like spicy, like different exotic food item, or they have a typical aversion to food. Another patient who was a very bad case of viral, who would get throbbing headaches, he would tell me that constantly in my mind there are thoughts and I'm trying to solve mathematics problem. This constant thought, constant ideas gave me a hint of China. I did very well on China. One peculiarity which I have seen is mind being very active, them getting very big dreams. One of the patients in fever, I asked the dream, and he described me a dream for about 20 minutes with everything so much in detail. He received the remedy China. The main rubric was dreams long and dreams vivid. I believe China is one of the main remedies in all the dreams. So if you see a patient with many dreams, you should think about an active mind. But what I want to tell you today is not only about this typical classic China, but mentally how to pick up the China. So what is the main state of mind of China? The main state of mind is constant feeling of being opposed by everyone. सब मेरे खिलाफ है. Everyone, the whole world is against me, and I feel hindered. I feel obstructed. I feel मैं अटक गया हूँ. I can't do anything. I feel insulted by all these people who are talking about my thoughts, about my work. They are not letting me go ahead. They are totally harassing me, troubling me, constant troubling. I don't know how to get out of it. The other very important stage which I have seen very often with the China is the feeling of constant feeling of I want this, I want that. So there's a constant rudeness that is developed, a constant ego that develops. He starts treating people around him, close to him, very badly. Becomes dictatorial, becomes embittered, bitterness comes in, becomes ungrateful. So this is a typical pattern that develops in China because of this harassed, hindered, and everyone opposed him feeling. In fact, they start now developing big fancies, and especially a very interesting rubric here, fancies about heroism. So he's because they can't do anything, because they are getting obstructed. Now they start getting fancies. Oh, I will become the hero. I will do this. But nothing happens. And then their mind goes towards sex, towards food items, towards tobacco, towards alcohol, towards all drugs. Many drug addicts require the remedy China. And too many ideas. Then in the morning they get too many ideas. So there's an interesting rubric. Ideas morning in the bed, ideas evening in the bed. No ideas throughout the day. You will not see ideas abandoned in afternoon in China because that's the working time. They will get all this idea when they are relaxing. Basically, the idea of China is that he makes a lot of plannings, lot of flight of fantasy only at night. As because he knows the impracticability of these fantasies. He indulges all this for pleasure, not for reality. This is the main idea of Rubiaceae family. And that is why a lot of plans, ideas, but can't do anything is often China. This is different to Medorinum, where Medorinum tries to avoid everything. China basically knows he is incapable. It is interesting because Hahnemann took China as well as the first remedy. And as the story goes, he had many ideas. He faced a lot of resistance, opposition. He was persecuted. In fact, if you read his writings, you will see a lot of this that everyone was against me. Interesting, which I found today. I don't know what his remedy was, but very interesting. So, what is the pattern of China? Is a lot of ideas, lot of plans, lot of stimulation, and lot of discouragement, lot of people against him, lot of persecuted feeling, and then he becomes critical. And then he goes towards sex, he goes towards alcohol, he goes towards tea, he goes towards coffee. In that way. This is the pattern of China. So the main idea of China is that I am weak. I feel constantly being tortured. I feel harassed. And I can't do anything. I feel obstructed. I want to do so many things, but I'm not being let to do. This is the idea of China. So interesting. But I don't want to stop here. I want to also tell you the other remedies of China. So I want to talk to you about China Sulph. This is a remedy I've used so very often, but mainly in cases of dengue. When the platelets are down, China Sulph is the main remedy. Remember, it is written in boric, immediate and rapid decrease in RBC, reduction in hemoglobin with increase in chlorides, tendency for polynucleated leukocytes. So I have also made a small differentiation between China and China Sulph. China, the main symptom you will find is weakness. China Sulph, you will see arthritis and spine pain. China thirstless, China Sulph thirsty. In China, all stages will be prominent. China Sulph, exact periodicity, like Arania diadema. This is very interesting. There is a very interesting rubric of China Sulph of couple of patients who did well. And he would always say 2 hours before he would get chills, he would say, I feel now I'm going to get chill. So there is a rubric, chill anticipating about 2 hours before paroxysm. Single remedy China Sulph. I gave China Sulph remarkably got better. Interestingly, if you see intermittent stages regular, you will see China and China Sulph. So there are many researches that we are doing where China Sulph is main remedy for dengue, malaria, chikungunya. Let me talk about another remedy, China Ars. Very lesser used remedy. The main thing is oscillating up and down temperature with cold hands and cold feet, with liver tenderness, with heartburn, with sleeplessness. Think about China Ars. So when you see this China state with a lot of anxiety, insecurity, think about China Ars. Constant chilliness. And one patient who I was treating would constantly keep on saying, mooning with chills and doesn't want to mix with anyone. This was his two main symptoms. On this, you can see indifference and moaning during chill, moaning during fever. Single remedy came up. The remedy China Arts, very interesting, and he did fantastically well. Sleeplessness, I have seen, is a very famous keynote of China Arts. In fact, Pulford writes that China Arts has been used in angina pectoris, chest pains, fantastically well. So before I finish, I want to talk to you about my guru's father, the one who I learned from, Dr. P. Sankaran. He writes, always have a receptive mind. Your mind should be always receptive. Be ever ready to appreciate, learn, understand. Learn from everyone and everywhere. हर जगह से सीखो, हर जगह, हर घाट का पानी सीखिए, हर घाट का पानी पीजिए. Learn from everywhere. Apply, utilize. It's a glorious opportunity, life is. And our science is so fantastic, so beautiful. We are so lucky. We have to learn so much. We can make a difference. Utilize this opportunity to the maximum so that, as Hahnemann said in the end, I did not live in vain. Interesting. So, with this thought, I want to finish my talk for today. Write to me what you feel, what you think, and we'll keep in touch.